If you're as excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows as I am, you're going to want to stick around for our preview right about now. So I got a chance to check out Assassin's Creed Shadows for around 3 hours. I got a chance to go into a remote session with our friends from Ubisoft. Massive love to our friends from Ubisoft for the access, and got a chance to go hands-on with the game. And I came away with a lot of different thoughts and feelings about it. You know, going into it, there had been a ton of conversations on the internet around, you know, what is this game supposed to be? Is this game going to be, you know, the game that brings Ubisoft back? Is this going to be the game that, you know, is going to really pull together a lot of what a lot of folks who are big fans of the series have been looking for and waiting for? And, you know, I think after getting a chance on the sticks, I am coming away from it really, really excited for what this game is going to wind up being. I think, you know, there's been a ton of controversy around the game. There's been a lot of discussions from not only big fans of the game, but also a ton of bad actors who, at the end of the day, you know, through a lot of different fussing and fighting about whether Yasuke is a character that is of actual note in history. You know, why wasn't a Japanese man on the cover of the game? You know, why is Naoe in the background? Why, you know, she's a woman. Why do we not get a dude here? You know, I think a lot of the real big, you know, fussing and fighting really comes down to, at least when it comes to Yasuke, is basically
because you're black.
But we all know that at the end of the day, you know, this character has been in multiple games. It has had, you know, history around it and behind it. Folks in Japanese culture also have an affinity for what this character has brought to the world and to Japanese culture, at least from the conversations I've seen from people who are of note and people who actually know what they're talking about. So it's been cool to be able to say, you know, is this game going to bring something to the table from a story perspective that's going to really give, you know, some weight to not only Naoe, but to Yasuke in both of the ideas that they're bringing to the table. Naoe as a character is really coming to this as a revenge story. You know, it's a really cool moment in the prologue that we got a chance to see that gives you her motivation in a real way.
You can sit up. How's the rest of you?
Nothing's broken. I can move. I can fight.
Fight? I didn't fix you up just so you can bleed again.
I have to go. I lost something very important to my father. I must get it back.
Yasuke, who is a slave who has really been brought to Japan as a kind of a gift and a novelty, really gets showcased in a way that not only brings him into the forefront of the game in my mind, but also opens up a lot of different conversations culturally and historically that I think are really important and interesting from the way that he not only plays, but the way that the world kind of receives him.
I see potential in this man. A warrior whose spirit can inspire armies.
He will be tested. He may become a legend, or he may die.
And it comes through in a lot of different ways. Not only does it come through in the gameplay, which we'll talk about in a second, but it really comes down to how do these characters kind of live in the world that they've been given. And Naoe is dope because, you know, she is a Japanese character who, you know, who's understood the ways of the world as a Japanese woman in that space, as a shinobi in that space. What's really cool is to see how Yasuke has kind of come to this space. You would think that they would kind of give him the lineage story of, well, you know, he was a slave and all these things, but they don't really delve into, at least in the parts that I got a chance to play, in a way that felt downtrodden. It felt like it's a part of his history. We understand it. Characters reference it and they talk to it. But his blackness isn't something that is kind of given to the game and to the audience as a negative. It's not given as a thing to be looked down upon. It's given as a way to differentiate him as a character, but also gives you space to kind of let you embody what that character must have been like and the trials and tribulations that you go through as a black person in a foreign land when people don't really know what to do with you. It's kind of cool to be able to see them give that, you know, time and care to his character in a way that I didn't expect and really came away really happy to see. It didn't feel like there were any stereotypes to really dig into in a way that would have raised any red flags for me, which was fantastic and what I was hoping for when getting a chance to check out Yasuke as a character. So much so that, you get a chance to see the world through their eyes in different ways. There are a couple of cutscenes that we're going to show that I think really play that up in a really smart way. It really talks about not only the way that Naoe is given, weight with her talent and skill and the mission that she's embarking on, but also it showcases the way Yasuke is given deference to, or gives deference to, folks who have higher stature than him. Not in a way that you would think of a slave and a master, but as a assassin, as a samurai, as a person who has a title that is one that is upheld in that culture in a really important way. But also, he is also understanding that he is a foreigner and that you have to play by the rules of the place that you live. And he has an affinity for it. He's learning about what Japanese culture is. And I thought that was very, very cool in the way that came across. Not only does that kind of showcase itself in the cutscenes, but it winds up being something in which when you're moving around the areas, characters get greeted differently. Characters are kind of given different space to inhabit. And the way that you go about getting your missions is very, very different. There's a gameplay aspect that I think is really cool in the way that it brings the world together. So if you look at your map and you're looking for a character to assassinate, a person that's kind of on your bounty board, you can hire these scouts to look at the map and kind of do intel for you. Besides being able to see things in the distance and be able to kind of go to wherever you want to see, you have these other elements that are there in the game that give you other ways to engage with the world, to engage with the cultural aspect of feudal Japan, and to kind of really be in the moment in the space for what these characters are trying to do and what they're trying to kind of really convey. I thought it was really smartly done, and I really love the way that they have tackled story and combat in those ways. Combat, on the other hand, is really, really fantastic. It feels very much like what you would expect from an Assassin's Creed game. But the difference and the caveat is you now have multiple playstyles that you can kind of engage in. Naoe as the assassin in the shadows, trying to take people out. She's nimble, she's quick, she doesn't have a lot of health. She's trying to get in, hit really quickly, get what she needs and get out. Yasuke as a character, he's going to be the front line. He's going to tank a lot of fights. And there are different kinds of characters and different kinds of enemies that you will see play really towards different play styles and plays towards different characters that you might want to pick. So if you're going up against the big brute, you're going to want to probably pick Yasuke. You're going to want to kind of bum rush the castle that you're going to be going into, or the area that you're going to go to, and really just like lay the hammer down, with your sword. With Naoe, you have so many different avenues to kind of really take on a mission. And I feel like no matter which playstyle you really dig, you're going to be able to find something that fits you, and you can bounce between them whenever you want. Something that was also really cool was like just in some of the cutscenes, tackling different missions during different times of day. You'll see different elements at play. Like you'll see a cutscene, and we'll show it really quickly, between the same moment is happening, but one of them happened at night and it was wound up being rainy. The other person was doing it during the day and it was bright and sunny. I haven't seen exactly how that plays into how the missions go, or if there are any kind of elemental elements that give you more cover, or if it's raining, can they hear you a little bit better, or can they not hear you as well? I don't know if those elements are actually in the game, but the way that the camera kind of spins around you, of course the synchronization moments are always going to be there, but I really, really love the battle camera. The battle camera is like a little bit lower to the ground. It feels like you're really in the fight, and you can kind of tackle and see where people are coming from multiple directions. And enemies are not easy. Like, they will come and get you. They will come and fight you. Some of them will wait their turn a little bit, but for the most part, you will get, attacked by multiple people, both up close and range at the same time. So you really have to be paying attention to your footing towards, where you're standing, where your opponents are, and how you kind of want to get in and out of the fight. Love that in the game, and think that that's going to be something that I think really brings home some fun moments in the ways that they're going to be able to record those things. If you're a content creator and capturing those moments, and if you're a player at home, you're going to be like, wow, that was a really fun fight that I got a chance to go into and to fight my way through. I think the setting is great. Again, like everyone's been waiting for feudal Japan, and everyone's been waiting for this moment to kind of go into a Japanese setting and really check out what this world is bringing. And I think with the map being so large, I feel like this game is going to definitely be a 30-hour probably main campaign kind of deal. And that's not even talking about replayability. That's not even talking about checking out the game from each individual character's perspective. But what it does bring into that space is you have a lot of time to explore. Like exploration is going to be a lot of fun. You have a lot of space to be able to think about the characters that you're going to be engaging with. And I like the cast of characters that we've already kind of seen and some of the ones that have been hinted at. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but they have motivations too that are kind of linked to the power that they hold and the political power that they want to kind of engage in, which I think also is really cool because you now are a part of their story about how they are trying to grow, you know, their kingdoms and what they're trying to build in those spaces. It's really cool to see Naoe find her own footing and trying to figure out what she wants to do with the clan that she's been building, and get to do that all within the world of Assassin's Creed, which has its twists and turns in and of itself. Like, what is the Abstergo going to be doing? You know, are they a big part of the story in some way that we haven't gotten a chance to see? Because you are still a descendant of, you know, these folks who are part of the Assassin's Creed clan. And how does that really work with Yasuke and Naoe? How, you know, who were their ancestors in that space? We don't know yet. So there's a lot of story there to kind of dig into, especially if you're a conspiracy theorist and you love, you know, what Assassin's Creed brings to the table in terms of commentary in that space. So really hyped for this game. I think the graphical fidelity, it's hard to tell because we were playing on a remote stream, but I feel like once I get a chance to get review copy for this, you know, and play it on PC, I'll probably be playing it on PC to get the full fidelity version of it. The world is gorgeous. It's beautiful. The setting is fantastic. The lighting is just stunning, you know, and getting a chance to, again, to see where they take this character and the historical fiction that they've been building and ways that they are connecting these two characters together who are very different but very similar in the fact that they have a mission that they are trying to engage in is really, really cool. And, you know, the cast of characters I want to go back to really quickly again, they showed some dope stuff with some of the enemies. Like the enemies, it feels a little bit like if there was a movie that I could relate it to, it's like Seven Deadly Venoms a little bit. You know, you have these kind of main bosses that you're rolling through to get through. And that happens in all Assassin's Creed games. But this one feels very, very different because it feels like they're all styled differently. And you can tell that they're going to have really cool fight styles and stuff like that too. So hyped as hell for this game. I'm walking out of that like, man, I wish I could play some more of it. I'm dying to get my hands back on the sticks and play more. And I'm excited to see how all of you kind of come to it once we get a chance to finish our or get a chance to do our review, which is hopefully going to be coming up very, very soon. So thank you so much for rocking and hanging out and watching. I think, you know, if there's any questions, please put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Go like and subscribe it. And go check out the podcast on all podcast platforms. If you want the video versions, go check it out on Spotify as well. So massive love to our friends over at Ubisoft again for the access and getting us in, letting us play the game early. And man, Assassin's Creed Shadows it looks to be, you know, one of the good ones, as they say, when it comes to the lineage of the Assassin's Creed franchise. So much love to you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.